Before we jumped in, we exchanged a couple of emails. You've mentioned that back in the day you weren't really understanding the power of the personal networks. You've mentioned you liked this part in our former Fireside Chat. So I wanted to kind of ask you, what's your advice for developers, which are inherently introverts, to kind of start building their personal network, and perhaps share with them how important it is to do this early? And what are the kind of the baby steps to take to build a strong network?
Yeah, so I'm not young. I've had a bunch of jobs. I've had a bunch of roles. I've worked for a bunch of companies, and I went looking through how I got all of those jobs, and realized that that across my whole career, before I became a consultant, and consulting is actually pretty similar from a client standpoint, but across my whole career, I had one job that I was not connected, that I was not connected to that job by someone in my network. And networking is so important. I began serious networking when I was at Apple. I described those reorgs that Apple was going through every 6 months back when I was there. I don't know if they still do that or not. And the third reorg, where the product I was basically managing a group of product managers, and a couple of levels above me decided that my job was extraneous. That there were three of us who were managing groups of product managers, and there was going to be one person managing the whole organization of product managers instead of the way it had been set up. And so, and he said, look, you can be one of those product managers. You can go off and look for another job inside of Apple. I'll give you 3 months. Just go look for what you want to do. And I realized that I'd made a bunch of contacts inside of Apple, but a bunch of people had left. And the typical thing was that somebody would send out an email saying, "Hi, I'm going to somewhere, and here's my contact information." Well, this is I was at Apple, and when I started at Apple, there was not intercompany email. There, if you were in the AOL system, you were in the AOL system. You didn't talk to somebody in the Prodigy system, and if you're in the Prodigy system, you didn't talk to somebody in the AOL system. You couldn't send it to somebody's company address. The interoperability of internet email was pretty nascent at the time, and so you needed to collect phone numbers, and of course there's no LinkedIn, and there was no Facebook, and there was no way to do that, and you needed to collect phone numbers, and you needed to keep track of people. And I hadn't done that, and so a whole bunch of people had gone to interesting companies that I could have called to say, what's it like at your company? Do I want to come work for there? Can you connect me? And I didn't have those contacts, and I thought, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. I'm going to keep track of people, and it's and you can think, okay, so now we have LinkedIn. I'm keeping track of everybody all the time. That's not the same thing as keeping track of, Bob is married to Sally, and he has 2 kids, and they're 3 and 5, and one of them just started school, and they're homeschool. And what kind of car, Sue drives, and what the fact that she loves mountain hiking as her hobby, and I don't have the mental space to mentally hold on to that for all of the people in my network. So I've got, I've basically got a personal CRM system, a personal database to keep track of and remember all of the things that are important to the people who are important to me.
Interesting. Do you recommend sending out personal updates to your network from time to time, just saying, hey, this is what's been going on with me, what's been going on with you? Is that a good way to keep in touch when you're looking at scale, like hundreds or perhaps thousands of people?
So I do what's going on with me in updates in LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
And I think that's really important. And then when I see something that, so I've been keeping track of people. I know what they care about. I know what they're interested in. Somebody's interested in data science, and I see something that's really interesting that I think they'd be interested in. I will use that as an opportunity to share that with people and to stay in touch.